What's up, everybody? Jimmy Faluca reporting with Larry this time. Larry, how's it going, buddy?
Hi, I'm Larry. Nice to meet you all.
Well, Larry and I are here to follow up on what we promised. You guys voted on all three wrestling pages that I'm on. What story did you want to see be rebooked? Either the Daniel Bryan versus the Authority or the Summer of Punk. And as it turns out, the Summer of Punk won in a landslide. And we will be giving you that presentation in our part 2. But Larry and I have some other business that we feel needs to be discussed here on the show. Two key things. The NXT Respect show, which we watched together. I can honestly say that was one of the best put together shows all year. I don't think there was a single match that we didn't enjoy.
No. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can label some like slight criticisms here and there, but other than that, absolutely not.
I mean, think about this. The show starts out with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe as part of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament against the Mechanics, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder.
Yes.
Which wasn't a great match, but it was good. But the selling point to that match was that Finn Balor's knee got taken out.
Right.
And you saw little subtleties between Samoa Joe and Finn. Like, when Finn tagged himself in, Joe was like, "What'd you tag yourself in for? You're hurt." And they got the win. And that played into later in the show where they would face the winners of the next tag team match, which I thought was excellent. Which Baron Corbin and Rhino against Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, which, I mean, Jordan and Gable are a very, very good tag team. I mean,
yes. Quite.
And Baron Corbin, who I have supported from the beginning, now a lot of people are talking nice about him. I understand he's not a great worker.
Yeah.
Never claimed that he was. I like him. I think that he can improve. And this past Wednesday was proof that with enough work, the guy can do something.
He could be entertaining, yes.
Absolutely. And Rhino is the perfect person to stick him with because it's obvious he's learning. Yeah. Rhino's been around the block enough times. He's worked for several different organizations. And
I have enjoyed Rhino's run in NXT an awful lot. I mean, the work he's putting in right now to help these new guys, the quality of his performance. I mean, like, okay, yeah, Rhino has definitely wrestled better matches. I understand this, but just seeing him now in this day and age and helping all the new guys and putting on amazing matches with these guys. It's just, you can't ask more from an older talent than Rhino right now.
As far as I'm concerned, this was the best tag match of the night. It was the tag. That friggin' delayed German suplex from Gable onto Corbin was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. And Gable's not a big guy. He's even smaller than Daniel Bryan is.
Right.
But he has that feel of Kurt Angle to him.
Now, this was actually the first night I actually saw these two, this tag team in action tonight. And I heard that Gable is the one who is the Olympic gold medalist. That is correct?
It's not that he's a gold medalist. He's an Olympian.
He has competed officially.
He's competed.
Now, it was funny because for the entire night, I had confused the other guy for the Olympian because he looked like one. And when you told me that it was, in fact, the other guy the entire time, I was like, wow, really? And then he got into the ring, and I was immediately given the proof. Whew.
No, look, U.S. Olympic Trials champion, 2012.
Damn. And I had to say, and do we even need to mention that
the finish?
That we watched 4 times?
Show me a soda. I mean, we replayed that finish several times. That tilt-a-whirl into the end of days. You couldn't ask for a better finish, even though we won.
Do you remember my reaction? Do you remember the words I spoke?
Actually, no.
I said, upon seeing it a second time, I went, he just stopped what appeared to be a single-arm DDT into the end of days. Okay. I got up and left the table for a drink because I needed one.
That was incredible.
Absolutely.
And then following that,
Well, allow me.
Please take the floor, Larry.
I have said this to everybody who I've spoken to about NXT, and everyone was in 100% agreement. We went from the tag team semifinals match into witnessing murder in the first degree committed by one Asuka.
I mean, what did you term it when Asuka looked back with that sick, sadistic smile?
Run, bitch, run!
That's basically what that means. And grown-ass men from Japan cower from that smile.
I mean, if this is... Okay, the theme here, definitely the theme in this NXT Respect show, has been a pure example of storytelling through wrestling. The first thing that we described tonight was, the tag match with Finn Balor. Boom. Right there, you have a setup. The entire match of the finals is now set up with Finn Balor's injury and very subtle animosity between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Then you have, the dominant tag team, Rhino and Baron Corbin, looking dominant. Especially
against Jordan and Gable.
Against two very good wrestlers, which Samoa Joe and Finn Balor are. So there you are. You have foreshadowing right there. And now tonight, then right after that, you have Asuka versus Dana Brooke. Who, by the way, this match was sold on one thing. Dana Brooke made fun of Asuka, demanded her to get out of the ring, to which Asuka complied. Walked up the ramp, turned around, and gave the smile heard round the world. And that is how you sell a match without saying a word.
Not everyone can do that.
Nope.
Not everyone can do that. And let me tell you something. Asuka's entrance was unique. I loved it.
I just wish the theme song was a little bit better. That's a minor grievance.
I had no problem with it whatsoever.
Yes.
And then she removed the mask.
Yep.
Needless to say, she is now my favorite diva. As much as
she's a what?
She's now my favorite. Okay, she's my favorite female wrestler.
Oh, I thought you said something else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so conditioned. I apologize. Because we actually think that the term diva is a very demeaning term to women in that business because they are women wrestlers at the end of the day.
And the fact that we'll obviously get to the reason why later, but the fact that this woman, like I said, is capable of destroying, even the most competent of male wrestlers in the card right now. To which the audience immediately started with, of course, Asuka's gonna kill you. Or did they say Asuka? Well, it doesn't matter.
The best was when Dana Brooke smacked her in the face. The crowd started a "you fucked up" chant because Asuka was smiling.
That was amazing.
And then Asuka proceeded to beat the ever-loving shit out of Dana Brooke.
It was a glorified squash match. I'm not a big fan of squash matches, but you know what? This was a good introduction for Asuka.
And Dana Brooke hung in there.
She did. Dana
to
Brooke,
her credit, she hung in there.
I really liked how Dana Brooke performed in this match. She was great as the victim. But nothing beat the end of the match. After Asuka had won, she gets out of the ring, and there is Emma cowering by the turnbuckle, not even daring to make eye contact with Asuka, who's walking in like this. Here, stand right there. Don't look at me. This is exactly what happens. Asuka comes out of the ring. Emma is just standing in the corner. Asuka's just like, and she shrinks away. To which Asuka just slowly turns around and walks back up the ramp.
Licking her lips after getting the satisfaction of beating...
And I gotta say, as somebody who watched her matches beforehand, because I became a fan of Kana overnight. Admittedly, I don't watch too much of Japan wrestling because I do not have the time to actually YouTube a lot of it, but I had to know what all the fuss was about with her. And, when I saw her wrestle Tajiri and so many others, you guys haven't seen... If you have not seen Kana's matches, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till she gets in the ring with a very, very capable female athlete like Becky Lynch or Bayley or Banks. Wait till you see the fireworks that are going to happen and people who could keep up with her.
You think the woman matches now have been good? Wait till they get in the ring with her. It's like with Hideo Itami. You guys haven't even you haven't even scratched the surface with what he's capable of. But moving on.
Yes.
Moving on, the next match was Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze, which was a very entertaining match.
Right. This is probably, I believe this is ranked for a lot of people as the least, I don't want to say the worst match on the card, but probably the most disappointing match on the card, because I think at this point everyone's been having this, I guess there's one major problem that people have been having with NXT pay-per-view so far, and it has to do with, Tyler Breeze. This guy can't win.
No, he can't.
Tyler Breeze is such an amazing worker. I can't believe it.
Say what you want about his gimmick. He's a damn good in-ring competitor.
Actually, I cannot foresee anybody saying anything bad about this. He is pulling this gimmick off so well. He was pulling it off so well. With with the selfie stick and everything like that. I loved that gimmick. I just wish that he could have gotten more. He can get some more natural heat behind him.
And the thing is, it's very difficult to be mad at Apollo Crews because the guy's such a great athlete for a guy his size.
Apollo Crews is entertaining. He did not show me a lot in this match. He did show me a little bit more than the last time, but he's
a very good athlete.
It was very clear Tyler Breeze worked his ass off this whole match.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I honestly really feel. This guy, Tyler Breeze, really needs to get put into the hunt for a title again. He needs to get back in there.
If NXT had a secondary title, he would be the champion without question.
Which, honestly, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. It should happen, but there's really not that many people in the roster right now that they could have a credible secondary division.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if you put like a minor title or something like that, I would love to see Tyler Breeze, because He's a great gatekeeper is what he's doing right now. He's basically the Jericho of NXT right now, and he is pulling this job off so much better at such a young age.
He actually is.
Such a young age in his career.
Next match we had was the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin and Rhino versus Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and the entire time he and I were waiting for the swerve.
I think everyone was.
And amazingly, didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I love about NXT. Don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like where I can say, yeah, that's going to happen, and then that's going to, and then it happens.
Yeah.
Then what's the point in watching?
I mean, we were disappointed, yes. Because there was a lot of story that you could have had here. Because, I was talking to James about this beforehand. When Hideo Itami got hurt, it was implied, lightly so, that it was Kevin Owens. But you could easily have put Samoa Joe in that role, especially for tonight. Or you could have just simply had I thought Hideo Itami would have also come out and interfered and turned heel, costing them the match, because, Hideo Itami and Finn Balor were tag team partners before that. You could have rolled with the fact that, hey, Hideo was the one who brought in Finn Balor, to begin with. So it's like, this is the respect I get, something like that. And also, I believe Hideo was the one who was supposed to go after the title before he got hurt.
Yes.
Correct? So that's another thing you could have played off of us. So
maybe he's not fully healed.
Perhaps. But like I said, the fact of the matter is, we were disappointed, but at the same time,
we weren't.
You're like, okay, I can take this, And that's one of the hardest.
And the speech that Cody gave afterwards made us completely forget about any heel turn, because that's when I realized you have to have a babyface team win this.
Right.
Because it's for Dusty.
Right. And there was another... Well, it's funny you say that, because there is one other thing somebody mentioned on one of your pages that I do kind of agree with. I do kind of wish, though, a legit tag team would have gotten this. And
like Jordan
a newer,
Gable.
Or Big Cass and Enzo. I would have thought for sure that Big Cass and Enzo were getting this. But, like I said, I haven't been watching, so I didn't see when they got eliminated.
One of the biggest complaints I've gotten about NXT is that Cass and Enzo and Tyler Breeze are not getting pushed.
Right.
Which is a very fair criticism.
So remember, guys, it's not just the main program we talk about that stuff with. It happens in NXT, too. And we call it out there as well.
No, we actually do. And now let's get into the main... Oh, wait, no.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
We still have the best match on the card, arguably the best match of the year. Yes. And for the people that are saying the main event to this show was overrated, it wasn't.
Someone said that?
Yeah.
I have not seen a single person say that.
I have, unfortunately.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same people that say that this match was overrated are saying that John Cena isn't equal to The Undertaker. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, anyway.
Please.
Yeah, let's not take away from this match.
I mean, you could not ask, as a wrestling fan, you could not ask for a better women's wrestling match.
This match started with an entire minute of psychology. With an amazing stare down. This match from bell to bell never dipped below a 5-star rating except for maybe 2 areas where there were some botches. There were 2 areas.
The hip toss, where Sasha landed on her neck.
Yep, which honestly we were in dread fear that match went out the window at that point.
We were worried that was it because, you don't play around with the neck. We know that.
And the second one was the where Bayley comes off the top rope and tries to get her into submission, but she gets too close to the ropes.
It was actually the Bayley to belly off the top.
Right. Oh, no. I remember. Yeah, you're right. It was a Bayley to the belly off the top ropes. It wasn't a submission. It was that they were going to have Banks put her foot on the rope, but she was too far away from the rope.
Had to roll a second
so
time.
She rolled herself over. But at the same time, that is nothing compared to the masterpiece that we had seen. And, of course, at the point where, and this is the one being most talks about, Lizzie, that's her name, right? The little fan, Bayley, the just Banks' work with her, even though it was, obviously Lizzie didn't know what was going on, that work was just goes to show you just how capable these women are of holding their own in a wrestling
and getting the fans emotionally invested in the match.
Every positive cheer in wrestling history was heaped upon, fear and honor were heaped upon their names tonight. Okay, sorry to pull out the Conan, but seriously, man.
But
and I called the finish too. Remember?
He actually did. He said it's going to end in a submission, and he was right.
This was to be a definitive ending to this story because it was a monumental night. And I said, you know what? I did predict that Bayley was going to win, but not for a horrible, of course it does reason, no. But because this was a monumental night in which, for the first time in WWE pay-per-view history, a female match, 2 women's titles was your main event. This
and delivered.
Is huge.
And delivered.
And it delivered in every way. And just everything. I love also that Sasha Banks did not get a clean... She also did not get a clean victory. I don't think she got one clean victory, right? What was the final score? 3-2, right? She didn't get one clean victory. The way she got it was amazing. It showed her frustration in that I cannot beat this person no matter what I do. And, of course, Bayley hung in there. She played an amazing face through this. And honestly, I think, if I keep going like this, I think I'm just going to...
If I had a hat, I would take it off because that's how much we respect this match and what it stands for. It doesn't just stand for women's wrestling. It stands for professional wrestling, that when you give these wrestlers the time and the attention, this is the result you're going to get.
I was speaking to one of my friends, my sister's fiance, who is one of the most diehard wrestler fans you will ever see.
Ryan's a good guy.
There is one match that every WrestleMania, when we used to watch it at our house together, there was one match we could not begin WrestleMania night with unless we watched this match, and it was Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21. I spoke to him about this, and I said, do you think we saw shades of that match tonight? And he went, if you're talking about ring psychology, absolutely.
And
they
in fact,
their characters. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And in fact, Kurt Angle himself turned around and said, I don't care what anyone says, Sasha Banks is the best women's wrestler I have ever seen. Now, you're hearing this from the Olympic gold medalist, who is the greatest, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest technical wrestler in the history of the industry. Better than Flair, better than Michaels, better than Benoit, better than Bryan.
It's hard to argue that.
You name them. Kurt Angle could out-wrestle them all on his worst day. That's how good Kurt is.
Even Bryan?
Even Daniel Bryan. I love him.
You think so?
Punk wasn't a great technical wrestler. He was just a great all-around character. We'll get into him later.
All right.
But let's get into another issue.
What's
that the ratings and the lack of answer for the ratings.
What ratings? I'm sorry.
It astounds me, Larry, that even now, when they're at their lowest,
I mean,
that people will still turn to, oh, it's football season. Was that an excuse in 1998? Was that an excuse in 1999? 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
It might have been at this time of year, but I still turn around and I say, well, what's the excuse for the rest of the year being a sucky product?
There is no excuse. And what's even more damning to me, you have the talent. You got Seth Rollins, who you book like a bitch, that I don't believe he could beat anybody. You got Kevin Owens, who's the IC champion, hasn't had a memorable match on Raw yet, but you'll give your US champion every advantage in the book, who, last time I checked, is already a bona fide Hall of Famer, has already made his money, but yet you're still cramming him down everybody's throats. You know, the New Day is one of the best things you got, and what do? Biggie Langston couldn't beat Cena in a glorified 3-on-1 handicap match. And then you wonder why they have to go back to The Undertaker. They have to go back to Brock Lesnar. They have to go back to The Rock. They got to go back to Stone Cold and promote the shit out of his podcast being on Raw. They have to promote they have to bring back, guys like Lesnar and have him in a main event. Why is The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar in the main event of your next pay-per-view in 2015? Because you have not built any of your stars of today up the right way. This is not sour grapes because my guys aren't being... My favorite guys on the WWE roster are Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, Cesaro. Where the fuck is Cesaro?
Cesaro should have been... Okay, I can understand because the Ryback has to have a rematch, but...
He is entitled because he did lose it last month.
But I'm going to tell you this right now. If they do not make Cesaro the first opponent for Kevin R. Owens after the Ryback feud is finished for the title, I mean, what more proof do you need that these guys are not getting the right booking after that? After Cesaro and Owens probably had the best match on the SummerSlam card.
Yeah.
I mean, it was SummerSlam, right? They had unquestionably the best match at SummerSlam. You know what? And as much as the marquee value for Undertaker and Lesnar was
there,
it's still the shenanigans at the end, the horrible booking at the end of that match really just cost me the enjoyment of the match. Meanwhile, in Owens and Cesaro, again, you had a perfect match, storytelling through wrestling,
and there was
everything
no
you needed.
Finish.
No fucked finish. It was literally the better man won.
And then Cesaro didn't get his win back the next night.
No, he did not. And what happened immediately after Cesaro and Owens put on possibly the match of the night? Cesaro disappeared into the middle of nowhere, and what did Kevin Owens end up doing?
He won the Intercontinental title,
yes,
and has done nothing with it.
And has done nothing since.
I mean, what bothers me is is shit like, oh, you want instant gratification? No. It's called, I'm tired of the same old faces being prominently featured. The Big Show and Kane.
In 2015.
The Big Show and Kane are your most prominently featured guys on a Monday Night Raw.
In 2015.
You can't understand why the ratings are dipping. John Cena is still being prominently featured in the main event. Yeah, he's taking a break from the main event scene. My fucking ass. Frank has been trying to explain it to me. I didn't want to buy it. Cena being out of the main event scene is a smokescreen. Because who's been closing Monday Night Raw for the most part? It's fucking him. The U.S. title is being given better treatment than the world title.
Absolutely.
And you know why? It's because of who's holding it. And the message that sends to me, the message that it sends to him, and the message that it should send to all of you. If that world title ain't on John Cena, that belt don't mean fucking shit. And that's why tomorrow, it'll be 8 weeks since I've watched Monday Night Raw. Why should I watch? Bray Wyatt's about to be fed to Roman Reigns and not be given 2 fucks about afterwards. Kevin Owens is not going to be treated like a true Intercontinental Champion. Mr. Perfect. as an Intercontinental Champion, as a heel, won most of his matches and didn't fucking run from anyone. Did he run from Bret Hart?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Did he run from the Texas Tornado? No.
Nope.
You know, it's just
Shawn
it's like
Michaels as the Intercontinental Champion.
The cowardly heel in 2015 is dead. You know, it's just it's so far past the point of absurdity that, okay, I had this conversation with my friend Marco. Marco, if you're watching, thanks a lot, dude. I was talking to him earlier on tonight while we were at work.
What's up?
He said, you know what? He said, Jimmy, you know what bothers me is that back in the day there were so many different guys that could have been the champ, and people would have bought it. You don't have that today.
And that's mainly what the problem is. Exactly, is that, you know. And I was just talking. You know what's funny? My mother, actually, who's probably never watched this a day in their life, you know what I'm saying, in her life, asked me, like, okay, like, because she remembers one time I just flipped out. It was, I believe, the Royal Rumble 2014. I think that Batista won. That I just lost my cool. Like, I completely blew up.
I've tried to block out that Royal Rumble because it was all part of the plan for Bryan to go to
funny.
WrestleMania. It was all part of the plan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, the people, yeah, I know. Because people are...
Yeah, they signed Dave Batista to be in a triple threat match.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, if the people were that Machiavellian in their way of thinking,
we wouldn't have nothing to talk about.
They would be, no, they would be doing something else. They'd be like running the stock markets right now, honestly, if they could think that far ahead.
The sad part is you actually have people that believe that going all the way back to SummerSlam 2013, it was the plan.
But going back to what I was saying.
Fuck out of here.
She asked me, and she brought up an amazing point that most people do. So props to her for bringing this up. She asked me, but Larry, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you never complained when he was on top, like, you know. And I said, well, here's the thing. That's a great point, Ma, but let me just tell you something. Stone Cold did not win all the time. In fact, one of the most traumatic moments to my sister, she loves this stuff, one of the most traumatic moments of my sister is when Stone Cold Steve Austin lost his title to Undertaker and Kane at Breakdown. You know? He didn't really hold... He did not hold that title for that long. He really did not. He had only had it back for another 2 months. Yeah, okay, you can say that it didn't count because Kane only had it for one day, but still, that's another loss. It's still a loss for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know what else I find hysterical?
All right, go ahead.
About the comparison between Austin and Cena, and nobody likes to bring this up. Austin, and I'm going to use the word universal. Austin was universally over. He was over with everybody. It wasn't just the men. It wasn't just the women. And it wasn't just the children. It was everybody. And
if you drew breath, you cheered for Austin with that breath.
And the funny thing is, your face of the company should be loved by pretty much everybody.
Right. Now, continuing with my point.
Go ahead.
At the same time, and then I told her, at the same time, now look, you already have Undertaker and Kane, both who could have credibly held those titles. At the same time, you had being built up Mick Foley, The Rock, Triple H, and I know not many people like this guy, but I'm just saying, Ken Shamrock was also being built up at the time. You had 4 guys right there.
Aside from the 3.
I said, aside from the main 3, who were going into the main event picture. All of them were built strong competitors as the IC title, one of which was Triple H. He held the IC title after a very awesome victory. That was the legendary ladder match at SummerSlam with him and The Rock. Very
good match.
You had Ken Shamrock getting into the title picture because he was to win the Intercontinental title eventually. Very soon he was getting ready to win that, so that would have put him into the main event picture. Now, did you have Austin going out and routinely beating all 5 of these guys every single night with no anything off his shoulder? Absolutely not. He lost to Kane in the first blood match via shenanigans, but he still lost. And it was no question that Kane was destroying him in that match. He won a tooth and nail victory over The Undertaker in the 1998 SummerSlam, where he basically had to resort to a low blow
to beat the
Undertaker. Remember that, guys.
It was not a clean
victory. And then finally, to make sure he wasn't... And you know what? They did the right thing. That Austin didn't look superhuman. They did the right thing at Breakdown by having him beaten by both Undertaker and Kane,
See, if that
preserving all three men's credibility.
See, now, if that was today, Cena would have just AA'd both of them.
He would have AA'd both of them at the same time.
And probably covered them both at the same time.
And covered them both. Yep, exactly.
Please.
Do you see where we're getting at? Where wins and losses, yes, they do matter to a point, but it also more comes down to the fashion in which you do win.
And the funny thing is, and nobody wants to hear this, and this is where I want to put an end to this part.
Go ahead.
See, people want to see Cena lose. Nobody friggin' like when Rollins broke Cena's nose the week after. What were the fans chanting? Thank you, Rollins. What did the fans chant? Thank you, Vince, when he stole the smoking skull from Austin?
Nope.
Did they chant thank you, Rock, when a Rock knocked him off the bridge? Did they chant thank you,
Triple
Undertaker, when Taker hit him over the head with a shovel
and cost him the match?
And cost him the title match? Did they say thank you, Triple H, when Triple H double crossed Austin with the hammer? No.
Or ran him over.
Or had him run over.
You know what? No. Actually, thank you, Rikishi, because at the time you didn't know it was Triple H.
Exactly. The point we're trying to make is the number one guy in your company should be doing doing two things. He should be the most popular guy you have, unless he's the villain, in which he's the most hated guy you have. And number two, he should not be consistently beating guys that could be put into his spot should he get injured or something happens. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket and something happens to that basket, then what do? I don't believe Dean Ambrose can be WWE Champion. I don't think Bray Wyatt can be WWE Champion. I don't think Seth Rollins deserves to be WWE Champion.
So this goes to show you, if you tell people enough that somebody's a loser, eventually they're going to believe it.
Do you think Cesaro can be a WWE Champion? I don't even think he can be a mid-card champion at this point.
No, not at all, because where is he? He's gone. He's been vanished from the face of the earth.
I'm pretty soon you're going to see his picture on milk cartons. No, because he's on Superstars. Jobber for life.
Well, I think we should probably.
I think that's the end of this part. You know,
let's prove our point.
Now in part 2, we're gonna prove our point, and we'll be right back with what should have been the summer of CM Punk.